This is 11-year-old me, and back then I had a simple dream: to make my own characters and create the next big superhero universe like Marvel and DC. Over the years, my work evolved along with my art skills, but then somewhere along the way I got stuck trying to make sure everything was perfect and overthinking my art. I realized that if I didn't do something now, I'd be trapped in this loop of always planning my universe forever and ever. So I gave myself a deadline. I have 100 days to create and release my comic publicly to the world. No excuses. The only question is, will I be able to accomplish my childhood dream before the deadline? Could this be the beginning of something big? Okay, it's the first day of the challenge. We have a lot of work to do. A lot. Making a comic book is a 6-step process like shown on the chart on the screen. The first step is scripting and writing. Now normally you start by making a main character for your comic, but I already have a character from my childhood, B-Man, so now I just need a story. I won't be starting from scratch though, since this comic is a reboot of the one published in 2021. That version was cool, but it had issues, so I rewrote everything. My goal with the first issue was to introduce the main conflict of the story as soon as possible. Just like Batman's origin shows his main conflict with crime in Gotham, in Avatar's first episode, Twinkle Toes gets out of the iceberg and learns about the Fire Nation War. Green Lantern's origin introduces all the space and alien conflict he'll be dealing with in the future. And in Project N's new origin, I'll introduce his main conflict with Nexavon immediately, the evil company that's the origin of his B-hybrid powers. I also made his motivations much clearer in this one in the beginning. His new motivation is revenge. He thinks Nexavon killed his father, so he wants justice. I want him to start out just wanting revenge before really growing into a hero. I spent the next few days passionately working on this script. Guys, it's officially day 10 and I am done with the script. You see it. I decided to make it a 24-page script, the same format that Marvel and DC use. And progress on the comic script was looking amazing, and the excitement here was still high. I genuinely cannot wait to just turn these pages, these words, into actual action scenes. I can't wait to see how that comes out. I didn't know how hard things were about to get though. By day 11, we had now officially entered the thumbnailing stage of the comic making process. Thumbnails are tiny, messy sketches that help you figure out what each comic page will look like before you draw it for real. It's like storyboards but for comics. It's day 12 and I've hit a wall. I didn't like how some of the pages turned out from the script to the storyboard because I didn't imagine some of them in that way, but I realized something. I've never actually learned how to storyboard properly. So I'm really glad I ended up taking this online class on Craftsy, who is the sponsor of today's video. They had this class called Storyboarding, Drawing a Plan for Animation by Gerardo Escamilla, and even though it's technically for animators, a ton of it still applies to comics, like when to cut from wide shots to close-ups, how to guide the viewer's eyes, just things I've been winging for years. That one class just genuinely changed how I approach scenes, and it helped me make my comic feel more cinematic. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative, with over 2,000 classes across drawing, painting, cake decorating, sewing, woodworking, and more, and it's all taught by professional friendly instructors. Each class is broken into like these short, easy to follow lessons, so it never feels overwhelming even if you're just starting out like me or figuring things out as you go. And if you want to try it out, the first 1,000 of you to use the link in the description or scan this QR code that's on the screen will get a full year of Craftsy Premium for $1.49. That's for new members only, and then you get access to everything. So yeah, huge thanks to Craftsy for sponsoring this video and for giving me the storyboarding lesson that I've needed for years. By day 18, I was done with 2 out of the 6 steps on the chart, so I was feeling a bit more confident. By day 26, I was turning these thumbnail sketches into fully detailed pages. I was finally in the drawing phase, and this was my first time ever making a comic purely 100% digital. I drew the old version traditionally on paper, but thanks to that YouTube money, thank you guys, I've been able to switch fully to digital. Now the good news is, in this stage, I was finally drawing. The bad news is, I had to draw his office life, the boring stuff. Just like Spider-Man was a high school student before the bite that changed his life, David Mwangi Kuria, aka this guy who will eventually become Project N, was just an architect at first. He's stuck designing towers for the corrupt city of Nairobi Haven, doing jobs he hates, under a boss who sees him as disposable. I wanted to show the calm before the swarm.
I understood that reference.
Just give you a glimpse of his real life before everything changes and he gets powers. A few days later, I was finally in the coloring stage, and this is where the comic really started coming to life. While I was having a lot of fun in this phase of the chart, I still really wanted to get to the fight scenes. As more days went by, people online were starting to notice that I'd disappeared. My inbox was full of stuff asking like, when's the next video, where did you go? And since I'd made some progress, I decided to do a Q&A on IG just to explain the 100-day challenge I was doing and why I wasn't posting on YouTube. And most of the questions were positive, but then there was this one that stuck with me, and someone just said, your art is back. I don't know if they were trolling or just trying to get a reaction, but after spending months improving my art from the 2021 version, I think it kinda hit a bit harder than I expected. It felt like they were saying I'd wasted all my time. I tried to brush it off, but that comment stayed with me, and it did come back later on in this challenge when things got tough. Like I mentioned in the beginning, making comics is a 6-step process, but I still hadn't completed the last 2 steps, which is lettering and distribution. Lettering is basically just adding in speech bubbles over the art, and then distribution is basically how I'll actually get my comic into people's hands. Lettering became a mess when I added more pages to the story halfway into this challenge. Issue 1 went from 24 to 32 pages, and now suddenly I had 16 more pages to draw color, and then 32 pages to letter in total. Distribution was another headache because this was around the time when Trump had his tariff wars going on, and that meant that physically shipping comics worldwide wasn't realistic anymore. Now the problem with this is that my audience has actually become more global beyond my country, Kenya, ever since I've joined YouTube. And then I also made the worst call trying to draw 3 to 5 pages a day, thinking I could be like Jack Kirby or manga artists who do like 15 pages a week. Why? Because I wanted to speed up the process because of the new 16 pages I added to issue 1. But I also forgot to factor in that these guys who were able to get that many pages done have teams. I didn't. I didn't have a comic team specifically. And even if I did, these people still burn out when they do that much. And some don't even live. I ended up getting carpal tunnel because of this work schedule, which basically meant that I couldn't draw until I healed.
Okay, update, but it's bad news. I have just injured my drawing hand.
By trying to speed things up, I actually ended up slowing myself down. It's day 68, and I didn't listen to my body. Even when my hand was hurting, I just kept trying to push through it and keep drawing. And now I can't draw at all. I can't use my hand properly. It's just in pain constantly, so I'm not sure I see myself finishing this challenge anytime soon. My dream started looking unlikely. This is when the doubts now started kicking in. What if everyone who doubted me was right? What if the trolls are right? What if I'm not a good enough artist? Why do I think I can do this? Why am I wasting my time? Why would anyone read my comics specifically? I was tired of pouring my heart out into this and wondering if it even mattered. I was tired of being the only one who believed. I was tired of second guessing every panel, every post, every move. At this moment, it felt like the fire I had in the beginning had just turned into smoke. Then I saw it. A Project 10 fan animation. Something someone had made months ago. I'd seen it before, but seeing it again this time in that low moment, it really hit differently. And it wasn't just them. It was other people that made their own fan art of Project 10. People I'd never met, people from different corners of the world, people who connected with my characters so deeply that they decided to create art around him. A character that just started as a thought in my head, and they probably don't even know it, but they pulled me back from the edge. It felt like the universe was saying, look, they believe too. This matters. This story needs to exist. It's reaching people. It's real. As for the trolls, I just decided to take some advice from Stan Lee.
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it.
I started looking into things that could help with my hand injuries and also hand exercises that could help me heal with the carpal tunnel, and they did help. I also started paying my video editor Josh to help me with coloring, and then my brother helped me with lettering, so all I had to do was write and draw so that we could finish this challenge. For distribution, I remembered One Punch Man started as a webcomic, so I decided to start with that for now, then we'll go physical later. The only thing I know is that I've come too far to quit now. I know deep down I'm creating someone's favorite future superhero. I also still owe it to him, the 11-year-old boy from Kenya with a dream. I truly believe I was born to tell stories. I was born to tell this story, to bring this universe, these characters to life.
Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell How they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer.